Bonjour everybody and welcome to today's special.
Hello, my beautiful people. Sorry, you're a little bit earlier than I expected. Welcome. Make yourself comfortable. Oh, by the way, I'm Caddy. Pleased to meet you. So you're here for today's special, I see. Well, as it is, of course, Halloween. It's going to be a rather succulent helping of the latest effort from Capcom, Resident Evil 6, in an attempt to please the lifelong fans, tough-as-nails critics, and hardcore gamers of today, after the disappointment of Resi 5. Which is here as well. Smells decent enough already, but does this game appeal to everyone? Now, in terms of Resi games, I am a huge fan. Whether or not you can forgive the control flaws, the not-so-good games of the series, or the incredible voice acting.
I'm going with you. Chris is our old partner, you know.
Okay.
You fucking what?
I'm so glad we chosen the very best translator in Earth, Jill.
Yeah, despite those few things, nobody can deny the impact that Resi had on the gaming world, breathing new meaning into the term survival horror, and creating a much more mainstream, mature audience for the PlayStation crowd, away from Jumping Flash, Crash Bandicoot, and just Mickey Mouse. What the fuck? Not to mention as well that some people call Resi 4 a contender for the best game ever made. So love the games or hate them. Actually, no! You should love them, yeah, you should. Otherwise you should stop watching this right now. Just click on the YouTube logo or the cross on your browser and, I don't know, fuck off. I'm not going to say what's already been said, but the point is, nobody can deny the legacy and influence that these great games would go on to leave behind. And then we got bloody Resi 5. Now I'm a little indifferent about this for a few reasons. Firstly, this and Resi 1 were the only Resi games I played up to this point. Secondly, I wasn't a die-hard fan before that, so I wasn't living up to any hype. And thirdly, I was 14 when this game was released, and I'm not gonna lie, it scared me rigid back then. Once I got older and got myself a cushy job, I then sought out the remaining Resi games. And then I got to 4. Which now, looking back, made 5 look very mediocre, and I'm glad I played the better games later. That way I was fucking immune to disappointment. I mean, don't get me wrong, 5 is a fun enough game in itself, but Resi? Not at all! And now, with the newest Resi game on the line, I am now justifiably in the crowd of die-hard fan, and I am now living on a mountain of hype. Will this revitalise the series after Resi 5? Will it please the lifelong fans? Will it appeal to anyone at all? Well, you want to know, I want to know, hell, even my friends want to know. So let's dive in and find out. And don't worry, I'm not going to spoil it, no sir, so chill out, alright? Okay! Judging by trailers and whatnot, I can see... Zombies? Zombies? Alive, but not really, so kind of dead zombies? Oh, yeah! I love this game already. Hey, zombies, I missed you. Oh, look at you. Have a bullet. Yeah. It seems funny how the title itself, Resident Evil, began as an in-joke for the first game, because after all, the mansion you were exploring was filled with zombies and scheming bastards, a literal nod to the fact that this residence was full of evil! And now we have this, which is now only liable to being called the Exploding City of Impeccable Doom Evil 6. Well, first things first, is the intro stentorian voice scary enough? No, there isn't one. Oh no. This gonna be bad. So after an introductory bit, we get...
Resident Evil 6.
There it was, cheeky chicken.
Why did it take so fucking long?
The story. So the main story here is that a bad man has initiated an act of bioterrorism with a new threat to the world, a new virus if you will, known as the C virus. So, yet another random lettered virus has graced the public eye. A is for apple, B is for ball, C is for holy mother of God!
Fuck 'em.
But every country in the world is united at a sign of lost hope, as the entire world is being infected by gas form, with no protection and no knowledge of any attack. And so, by means of dividing the story into 3 different campaigns, each of our pairs of heroes must complete different quests to ultimately complete the same goal. Not to mention, an unlockable 4th campaign helps piece together any bumbling story arcs. Whilst the premise and the potential is there, I felt that the story was a little bit stale. It doesn't follow off from anything in particular, and it instead just throws you into the middle of this shitstorm. There's no sense of build-up or any fulfilling payoff, and also a lack of real tragedy in the story, as I couldn't care less for any of the extra characters or the mass scale of people that were dying. It's almost like in the movie 2012. You don't care about the tragic ends to the lives of these people, you don't even know their backstories, and you don't read any diary entries of them. All you know is that they're gonna die in some horrific way. It really does try to throw some drama and tragedy in there, and when it can sometimes hit, it misses more than it hits. For instance, some of the mutations you fight. If you look back at Birkin in Resi 2, where you witness every single stage of his mutation, as well as hearing him cry out for his daughter as he becomes further detached from reality, that is truly upsetting. But most cases in Resi 6 end up with a condensed and quick and careless version of that formula, to the point of just plain silly. If you play Leon's campaign and get to the final boss, you'll see exactly what I mean. And there's no Albert Wesker.
Wesker!
I mean, at least in 5, every single little solitary thing that Wesker had done up to that point actually meant something. He was there from the start, and you just wanted to finally destroy him and put him down forever. Instead, we have this new villain. He comes from nowhere, does evil deeds to illustrate how evil he is, and then goes away again. Basically, it's not actually very good. Also, the events prior and during the game are bombastic and over the top, which, where it can be fun and oftentimes shocking, it doesn't have enough drama or tragedy to reinforce it, turning it into a series of unfortunate occurrences resulting in bewildering action scenes. I will say, however, that seeing these 3 campaigns weave in and out of each other is pretty fun, and seeing our favourite characters face to face and how they interact is also pretty cool.
In other words, Resi has grown up. It's bigger. It's badder. But it's not necessarily better. I give the story 3 out of a possible 5 stars.
Control! In terms of control, I really liked how this game played. It feels solid and robust, and much more different from the light and springy Resi 5. You know, you can actually feel the weight of your characters. And despite the fact that Resi just keeps on diverging from its humble roots, they at least let you move and shoot. Hallelujah! At least they aren't lying about the fact that this is an action-oriented game. And you can also move around in full, pristine 360 actual degrees, instead of moving around like fucking battle tanks. New mechanics are also in play as well, such as dodging at free will, sliding, shooting, and rolling under floor, and even fighting back whilst dying. They are all very welcome in this, and it keeps the game fun. Even sprinting away like a bloody coward has perks, because you can charge into your enemies as you run. Capcom now realise that Resi is, sadly, much more action-based, and so it doesn't treat its fanbase like fucking children and live in denial, like, oh, you remember Resi 4? We do, so here's Resi 4 again, but shittier! And so this gives you an honest, needed, and much more improved control scheme. It's free, easy, flowing, and great fun to control. Also, the partner AI controls are practically useless in single player. They listen to you, don't get me wrong, but they never seem to die in battle, and never run out of ammo, and aren't too bad at looking after themselves. No more babysitting Shaver anymore. The game wants you to enjoy it and not treat it like a bloody chore. However, every so often the camera locks. It's just like, oh, hello there, having fun? Well, fuck you and have a look at that. And then you have no camera freedom until the lock ends. It's kind of annoying. I'll cover the inventory system later, but you may notice that this control scheme is very close to Dead Space. Like, a lot. It's almost acting like its competitor of sorts, but with that said, Resi has learned from the modern game market, and also thrown in new things to the table in terms of control. I'm beginning to miss the traditional Resi, but for what this is, and what 5 should have been, the controls are good. 4
stars out of 5.
Presentation!
One thing I must say is that the game looks and sounds great. Oh yeah, it looks great, know what I mean? Every environment is very well crafted and nicely detailed. The characters look great, the monsters look fantastic, well you don't. The zombies look better than ever, the cutscenes are slick and stylish, and the gigantic open levels look just as good as the claustrophobic and cramped areas. The game also gives you a lot of these areas to marvel at depending on whose campaign you pick, ranging everywhere from empty school campuses, dingy Japanese alleyways, and wide snowy mountains. And finally, the underground labs of failed experiments are back! There isn't as much character in the scenery as the original Resi games, as this is still very action-based after all, but it does look pretty ace. Musically, it's okay. It's pretty basic stuff in terms of the soundtrack, and it sounds a little too much like a Christopher Nolan movie. Whatever happened to this? What is this noise? The odd sound effects that are designed to startle you are not bad, but they're not terrifying. Definitely in terms of any kind of creepy vibes in the whole game, Leon's campaign is the strongest in terms of look, sound and music. Voice acting is very typical Resi, and we are still not far away from those cheesy lines.
What is that thing?
You're asking me?
Back off, pal. You've had enough to eat.
Him again? Friend of yours? More like an ex-girlfriend. Guy doesn't know when to quit.
Great to see that some things never change. I also like the little things, such as the burning city, very reminiscent of Resi 2, possibly even a HD remake of sorts, and how each character has a differently themed inventory. Very cute. Not forgetting as well about how much more badass Leon looks. Just look at how fucking cool he is! Not to mention Chris, who... Hey, wait a sec. Did Chris just smile? And I like little things like this as well. There are no typewriters in the game, so the autosave logo is a typewriter. Look, it's still Resi, really? Stop lying to us. Resi 6 tries to appeal to everyone's sense of what Resi should look like nowadays. And for me anyway, I really liked it. Capcom really put some effort into how the game is presented to its audience, and even though it shouldn't really be bearing the Resi name anymore, for what it is, it's great. Hey, by the way, you like boobs? Here are some boobs. Tit Beast!
4 out of 5.
Gameplay! Now the big one, and unfortunately, not perfect. You get your typical Resi traits over all the campaigns, such as fetch quests, escort missions, boss battles, chases, and puzzles. Puzzles, however, you know, that little thing that was just a major player in all the other games, take no effort at all to figure out because we're all into our Call of Duties and our Halos and our Wii Sports results. Although each campaign offers different gameplay styles and mechanics to play with, such as driving stages, flying stages, sliding stages, swimming stages, and the old familiar exploration stages. Hell, even elements of stealth can be used in this. And I also like the weapon system, much more raw and simple like in the original games. You don't get 4 different types of shotgun, you get a shotgun. No bullshit, just you and the game. And occasionally the difficulty leans on this truth, and it tests you on how good you are at the game mechanics. And apart from the occasional cheapness that I'll explain later, it's satisfying passing some of the trickier parts because of this. Out of the 3 initial campaigns, Leon's is definitely the strongest, combining both the action trickery that Resi has skewered into, and the slower and eerie searches through death-infested backstreets. Traditional zombies, supposedly abandoned buildings, the works. I had the most fun with this one, and it's a pity that the whole game couldn't centre around this style. I enjoyed Jake's a lot with the tense Nemesis-esque chases and the stealth parts, and Chris was... Chris was the straight up, eat your own teeth, testosterone fueled explosions! Explosions of life! Jesus gives us explosions of life! Almost bland, COD-style campaign which you should only play if you're hard! And then we have Jake's, which tried combining both the other campaign styles into one. This game tries so hard to appeal to everybody, and it comes so close to getting it right, but unfortunately it gets lost. For example, the lack of ammo in the original Resi games created a sense of strategy and tension, so Capcom made ammo relatively scarce in places. Where this may work in Leon's campaign in a way, I got to the last boss with Chris with no ammo at all. Nothing, and with no other way of gaining any more, but with hard work and fucking ace-shaped determination, I beat it with a knife, 40 assault rifle rounds, and not a shred of dignity or angered cries left in me. I think the point is, if you want to establish familiarity, that's fine. If you want to create tension in an action game, that's fine. But don't try pleasing everyone at the same time by throwing limited ammo into action sequences together. You just don't do that. It's like making pickle ice cream, just no. It's at times like that the game can get really frustrating to the point of rage quit. I actually found myself a few times using the knife and melee combat a lot, which surprisingly isn't completely goddamn useless. It also doesn't help on how stubborn the enemies are, leading to a possible 10 bullets to take down one enemy. I mean, sure, there's a very House of the Dead feel to shooting the enemies, as you can shoot different limbs off and blow holes into them, and it is a lot of fun watching their heads drop off or even explode, yeah! But how tough some of these guys are gets a little silly. Like I said, it's excusable in parts, and you can always strategically prioritize which guns and grenades to use on each enemy, but in objectives such as eliminate all enemies, it becomes a little bit of a fucking problem. There's even less amounts of health pickups available, but I'll cover that in a sec, alright? Also, where 3 different stories sound pretty cool, at one point or another the characters will cross paths, meaning that you'll have to be replaying the exact same stages with different characters, which I saw as a teeny bit lazy. I'm so sorry. The cheap ways in which the game treats you include things such as the way that you can be recovered from death, only to then immediately get knocked down again with no second chance to react. And, of course, the QTE is back, full force, and this game is littered with them. Didn't press that button, you're dead. Didn't click that fast enough, you're dead. Didn't press the button at the correct points at all parts of the song. Come on, dang! Need I say more? A little I can handle. Hell, I love Heavy Rain. But in this, a fast-paced survival action game, it's random and it's annoying and it happens far too often. Now, health pickups. The herbs are still here and first aid sprays are still here. I counted a total of about 7 first aid sprays in the whole game. And the health system is completely different, represented by these little blocks over here. For every herb you pick up, that refills a block of health. If you're clever and mix certain herbs together, you can refill more blocks. It sounds dandy, but there were barely any health pickups to do that with. And the whole mix it in the inventory thing and move it into the storage case I thought was kinda dumb. I don't know, I didn't really see the point. And that's the inventory pretty much in a nutshell. The only use it had was mixing herbs and dropping shit, so why have the storage case for health? First aid sprays didn't come under that, so what? There was also no skill on where and how you should use these health pickups, as you always have a checkpoint to fall back on. If you die in the earlier games, you start back from where you last saved, and with limited saves, using herbs took a massive amount of thought and strategy, because if you waste them too early, you were screwed. But in this game, health is expendable and dying isn't a big deal. Just think of the health as extra batteries for your RC chopper. It does nothing but keep you going longer until you hit the ground with no consequence. And, like ammo, and dead space, this all undergoes in real time. And there is also no fucking merchant, which I am ungodly pissed and irked about, and I must ask Capcom why. Finding money and deciding what you want to buy and sell is thought driven and fun. Upgrading weapons is fun. Buying necessities when you need them is fun. The merchant himself is a babe. And instead we have a skill point system, which I really didn't like. You kill enemies or find skill points scattered in the levels, which you then use whenever to upgrade your game, such as firearm damage increase, defense increase, melee increase, you get it. Not only is there, again, little strategy behind this, I could only find myself affording 1 or 2 upgrades per chapter, and it didn't have much bearing on the gameplay. To get more skill points, it forces you to play all the extra content, a clever enough ploy, but some people just want to enjoy the game.
The prices of these upgrades are fucking outrageous!
And you can only equip 3 skills at one point. I mean, I really didn't like this. There's also no real reward for exploring some areas, which is a shame because some of these areas look fantastic. The only real benefit of exploring is finding an emblem or 2 for extra content. Apart from that, it's very linear, which is a massive shame, but ah well, try and appeal to everyone, eh? Some people just don't have time for looking around, I guess. And now, the big question. Is the game scary? And the answer is, surprisingly, not a fucking all. It comes being close to Creepy and Leon's campaign with the gothic environments and unsettling vibes, but this is really not Resident Evil anymore. I never felt tense at any point, except perhaps maybe in the Ustanat chases with Jake, very much like, you know, really like Nemesis, that one, but nothing major. Sure, there were a jump scare or 2 that caught me off guard, but I was never at any point slightly scared of this game. Not really much else to say.
Overall, when the game wants to be fun and fast, it can be. It could be very fun and very fast. But more often than not, the unfair side will take you over and leave you very angry. And, not forgetting, this isn't Resident Evil any fucking more. 3 stars out of 5.
Content! Now, the actual content of the game at first appears very deep. You have the basics, such as online play, co-op, the Mercenaries has made a return, not to mention as well that Capcom even promised that all on-disc DLC will be free in another update. And there's even the unlockable files and such, as well as a new online mode known as Agent Hunt, where you can intercept a player's game, if they're open for it. Hey, know what I mean? Hey. And you can join their story as a monster, and fuck everything up. It sounds very cool and it looks very cool. However, I could never get connected. But it's okay, for each campaign mode includes 5 chapters, and every campaign set me back about 6 to 8 hours each, and within those campaigns you can unlock different files and things via shooting down the 80 emblems scattered throughout the 3 stories. Also, unlocking the cutscenes and then looking back at them chronologically is pretty sweet, and it gives you a better understanding of the story. There's even an unlockable 4th campaign mode offering even more things to play with. It sounds nice and all, but after finishing Leon's campaign, the game informed me that I'd only completed about 4% of the entire game. Initially I thought, hey, whoa, this is some deeply layered shit cake over here. But then I looked into it, and I realised that the percentage is justified by completing the story mode with both characters on every difficulty. Hey, wait, who the fuck is Piers? Piers? I don't know who fucking Piers. I want to be Chris. Fuck you, Piers. Fuck you. You fucking little bugger. Not to mention killing all types of enemy, getting all weapons, shooting all emblems, you know, every cheap and stupid ways that the game makes you think that you're progressing when you're actually not doing anything at all. 3.5 stars.
Final verdict! Overall, Resident Evil 6 does feel like a complete package. It feels solid enough to withstand the price tag, and apart from the major flaws on all accounts, there isn't too bad of a game here. I mean, you can see they really did try with it. It really wants to move on, but it doesn't want to lose its other fan base. But let's be honest, it's not Resident Evil anymore! And you don't need me to tell you that, because we all had that assumption, but the point still stands. I mean, it wasn't a major disappointment after the bar that 5 set, but it still wasn't fantastic. To sum up, after tasting all the courses of this, I can give this dish a pretty solid 3.5 stars out of 5.
Yeah.
If it's your birthday today while watching this video, then happy freaking birthday to you, and I'll see you guys on the other side, alright? Oh, and don't forget to stay beautiful. Okay? Okay?
Okay.
Why, hello my beautiful people. Hello. Thank you very, very much for watching this video. Sorry it was so long, but thanks for sitting through it, and thank you very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. Basically, there's a few new things going on, so for all the beautiful people that were here on my show from the start, and even all the newcomers that might be coming in, you can have a look at that video. I've linked to it on the right-hand side, so go and have a look at that if you're a little bit horrified. And on the left-hand side, I've just linked you another one of my videos, so you can have a cheeky little gander at that. So yeah, that's all I gotta say. Thanks for the support, thanks for watching, and a massive greetings and salutations to the potential new people that are coming in over the next couple of weeks. So thank you all for clicking, thank you for watching, thank you for showing support of the show, just thank you all, I love you, mwah, mwah. Oh, and by the way, don't forget...